Hey everyone, Linda here, coming back at you with another video today. Welcome back to AdoreR. Hope everyone's doing okay today. Today I'm coming to you with my wrap up. I was participated in the historical readathon, and it wrapped up on March the 22nd. I had one more book that I wanted to finish, so I finished it. So I'm going to do my wrap up today. The first book I have is The Arrangement by Lynn Stone. It's a historical, Harlequin historical. This was a reread for me. I really enjoyed it, and when I reread it again, I still enjoyed it. I give it a 4.5 stars. This is on Catherine Wainwright and Jonathan Chadwick. I think I mentioned that he had lost his memory or something, but no. I was wrong. That's why when you read a book from a long time ago, don't go try to tell nobody what happened, because you really don't remember. So I didn't remember. It was a case of mistaken identity. She is going to mistake him for his brother. Well, he's going to pretend that he got a brother because he's a musician. He was a prodigy as a child, and his mom she didn't what do you want to call her, a stage mom, because he didn't learn any, he didn't get no kind of education, because when she found out that he could like catch on the music real quick and play music, that's all she wanted him to do. So he didn't really get an education. So that's what he mostly did when he was a child. He was a child prodigy, played the piano, and he also, when he got older and the war broke out between Napoleon and England or whatever, he went and joined the military. But his parents, his dad was like a impoverished, I don't know, he wasn't a duke or anything like that. Maybe it was a marquis or something. He was one of those noble titles. But they didn't have any money. So when he comes back, you know, where he lives at is in ruin and stuff like that. So now he has to go back to playing the piano again. So when he does that, she is a, what is her name again? Catherine is a columnist. She writes a column in her uncle's newspaper. That's what I liked about this book. The females in here, they weren't like your usual historical female who waiting for a man to marry them or whatever. They go into the ball. No, she was a columnist, and she wrote for her uncle, and she's trying to find out the dirt on him, because when he come back, it's like he's a mystery or whatever. But only thing they know about him is that when he was a child, he was the child prodigy. So when he come back, he keep his face all painted white or whatever, and he wears a wig on his head. And she wants to get an interview, because she be doing these columns on different aristocrats and ruining some people's reputation. So he was like, I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to get my, house in order. I don't need her trying to find out dirt on me and ruin my reputation or whatever. So he won't give her an interview. So she followed him home one night, and she see this guy sitting on the floor. He done took off all his makeup. He done took off the wig and everything. And she mistake him for like, oh, you're the one writing all this music for him, for this guy. And he's getting all the accolades while this guy right here just sitting on the floor. Because when he sees her, he's so shocked that he can't speak or whatever. So she thinks something wrong with him. So she ends up talking to, when he back in his disguise, she ends up talking to him, talking about, you treat this man wrong, and you taking all the money, and he's not getting any accolades or whatever. And then he tried to let her know that, this is my brother. He lied and said, this is my brother, and something is wrong with him. He don't need to be in the limelight. He wouldn't be able to handle it and stuff like that. So that's how they meet. And it goes from there. She eventually does find out the host, find out about them, and because she's gonna have some problem with her uncle is doing some underhanded stuff, and she's gonna need to get married, and they're gonna end up getting married in this a marriage of convenience. And that's why I think I mentioned before that I like books that the main two characters get married before the story is over with. I really enjoy that kind of scenario. So that's what happened in this book, and it goes from there. And I really enjoyed this. So if you haven't read, and Lynn Stone is a good writer, so if you haven't read anything by Lynn Stone, you need to check it out. I highly recommend this. I gave this 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Next up, I have Julia Justiss, another favorite writer of mine. I gave this, I gave it 4.5 stars, but now I'm going to give it 4 stars. And this is The Wedding Gamble This is another Harlequin historical, and this one is on, who is this? Let's see here. What is her name? I can't think of. Is it Sarah? Yeah, I think her name is Sarah. Sarah Wellingford and Nicholas Stanford, and he's a Marquis, and they meet each other because he's engaged to a friend of hers. She has come to London to do her season, and she's staying with her friend because she needs to get married to say her family is having hard times and she needs to get married. So she come to London to find a husband. So she's staying with her friend, and her friend is engaged to Nicholas, and her friend is spoiled and what I want to say, very outgoing and outspoken, something that females shouldn't be back in those days. So he's having because he needs to find a wife too, so that's why he got engaged to Sarah's friend, and him and Sarah become friends, and they talk and stuff like that. But him and the Sarah friend is having a contention because she want to do what she want to do, and he was like, I don't think I'm gonna need this. She's not gonna make me a good wife. Eventually, he does something to make Sarah's friend say, I'm not gonna marry you. You stuck up or whatever, a stick in the mud. So I want to call this wedding off. But he did something to make her call the wedding off, and then he's become he's like Sarah. So he's like, Sarah needs a husband and he needs a wife. So he asked Sarah to be his wife, because Sarah, she's not engaged to the. She got this one man who's trying to go with her, and look, let's just say he's a bully and he's not very nice. But anybody who try to talk to her, he try to run him off or whatever, but he can't run Nicholas off. So she agrees. But the only thing I like about this is that she didn't talk to her friend about, even though her friend had broke it off with him, she didn't go and discuss the situation with her friend before she told Nicholas, yes, I'll marry you. That's where I took off some points. And I was like, you're not even though I know she broke it off with him, I still would talk to my friend about this whole situation. But I didn't, if it wasn't here, I didn't see it. So I took off a couple of points from that. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed the story. Julia Justiss is an excellent writer. I took off a few points and I gave it 4 stars. Mostly it's just going to be about them learning to falling in love with each other, and then something going to happen because she was in love with somebody else a long, long time ago, and you know how they go. They come back into the picture to throw a little angst into the whole situation. So it's going to go from there, and both of them dealing with, because they start falling in love with each other, but they don't tell each other. So that was another content, because they don't tell each other that they have feeling for each other. So both of them wondering what's going on. Does she really love me? Do he really love me? Do she really love me? So it goes back and forth like that. But the story, like I said, was excellent. I still loved it. I give this 4 stars. So if you haven't read any of Julia Justiss, you need to check out some of her writing. I think she has contemporary romances too. If you don't like historicals, try some of her contemporary out. Like I said, she's an excellent writer, and this is The Wedding Gamble, and like I said, I gave it 4 stars. Next, I have Emma Jensen, Moonlit. I think on my last one, I always said Moonlight, but this is Moonlit by Emma Jensen. I really, really enjoyed this one. This is a favorite of mine. I still give this 4.5 stars. I really, really like the male character in here. And this is on Trevor St. Wolfton and Nell Nolan. This is another case of mistaken identity, because everybody think that Nell is a courtesan because she was helping this Duke out and she worked for him, but people thought that she was actually his mistress, but she wasn't. And she used to be married before. She got married when she was young, but her husband got killed in the war. And so she ends up with the Duke because the Duke has a mistress, and the mistress gets sick, and Nell gets hired to come and take care of his mistress. And that's how Nell ended up staying with him, because eventually the mistress, she gets better, but her and the Duke break up. But Nell stays with the Duke to take care of him because, in his old age, she's helping him and take care of him. And when he passed away, she goes to London and she visits his old mistress. And she tells the mistress why she come to London. She's come to London on a mission concerning her husband. That something happened with, like I said, he passed away in the war. and some men who was in the unit with him come and tell her something, and she come to London to take care of a situation. But she was trying to get invited to a ball. So like I said, she comes and talk to the Duke's old mistress, and they decide that she needs to find a man to take her to this ball. So that's how everybody thinks she's on the market to find a new protector. And that's how she meets Trevor. And even though he's impoverished too, and he's had a bad home life, because he left home when he was like 18 or 17 or 18 because something with his father happened, and he hasn't been back since. So he's another impoverished aristocrat, living on the fringe of a society. He worked for the government. He's like an assassin. So when he meets Nell, he done, because he was over in Europe doing some stuff like in the Napoleon War, and now he's back and he's still working for the government, and he meets Nell at this party. I forgot what he was at the party for, but they have a connection, and it goes from there. And it's another one where they get married before the end of the book. I really enjoyed this. I really love Trevor St. His name is Trevor St. Wolfton, and they call him Wolf sometimes. I loved his character. He was my favorite character out of this whole book. I really enjoyed it. And this is not a Harlequin. This is just a regular historical. So if you want a good read, if you want to fall in love with the male character, I really love Trevor, and I love Nell too. I love both of the characters in this story, and I like the story where you have like, sometimes I like when they have a mistaken identity, and the man have a misconception of the female. I just really enjoyed this story, and this is Emma Jensen, Moonlit. So if you haven't read it, check it out. And I think this is in a series. I don't know what the series is called. I have no idea. I guess I should have looked it up before I started this. But this is in a series. I think she had two. She had Fallen and, oh, here go the other two books. And let me show it to you. Fallen and Entwined. Both of these are in this series. So I can't remember if I read these other two. I can't remember, but I will go back and see can I find them. If I did, they're here somewhere, and I'll go back and read them, because I can't this is the only one that I remember. I guess if I did read them, I didn't like them that much, but I know I enjoyed this one. This was on my keeper list, and I give this 4.5 stars. Check it out. Emma Jensen, Moonlit. Next I have Eloise James. I don't think I mentioned this when I said I was going to do the historical readathon. I didn't have this one in my TBR, but I did read that. I threw this one in there too. And I read this Too Wild to Wed by Eloise James. And this is in the Wilds of Lindow Castle series. And I don't know if this is the first book in the series or the second book. This might be the second book in the series. I'm not for sure. But I think this is the Wilds and Love. This is in the series. So I don't know which book this is in the series. I couldn't tell you. But I'll leave all that information in the description below, because I usually put it in the description below if I can't remember. So I'll leave which book this is in the description below, and I'll have which book this is, and I'll put all that in the description below. And like I said, this is Eloisa James, Too Wild to Wed. It's in a series, and this is on Roland Northbridge Wilde and what is her name? Diana Belgrave, and they were engaged. It started off with them being engaged, but she backs out of the engagement for a reason concerning her sister, but she don't tell him what it is. She just tells him she can't marry him, and she runs away, and he goes and find her, and he think that she left him for another man or something. Something happened when she opened the door, and they talk, and he leaves. I forgot what she told him, but he leaves, and he goes away and join the army. And he's been gone for a long time, and when he returns, he finds her at his house, and she's become the governess for his nieces and nephews or something like that. And she also has a little boy with her, and he thinks that it's her son that she done had by somebody else. But I'm not going to get into all that. I'll let you read it for yourself. I really enjoyed this one too. Not all the way. I gave this 3.5 stars. This some things in here that I didn't like. I didn't like how this ended. Yeah. It was doing too much. But I enjoyed the story. I'll recommend the story, but at the ending it got a little, I was like, okay, yeah. Doing too much. But other than that, it's just about them rediscovering that they still love each other. And the situation is that, you know, now that, you know, he's highborn, he's in next in line to be the Duke, and she's not. She don't, because she used to be in high society, but now she done fell down. You know, I guess they said something happened and she's not where she used to be because she's a governess now, and she's not good enough to marry him. That was that little scenario in here. But at the end, I was like, okay, y'all doing too much at the end. So I just gave this 3.5 stars. I don't want to go back and read this again. But I enjoyed the story, and I will continue with the series. I like Eloisa James' writing, so I will continue the series. But this one just didn't tick all my boxes. And this is Too Wild to Wed. Next, I have Jennifer Ashley, The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie. I really enjoyed this one. I gave this 4.5 stars. This is my first time reading anything by Jennifer Ashley. I really enjoyed this book. This is book number 1 in the Highland. I do know what this is. This is book number 1 in the Highland Pleasures series. I enjoyed this so much, I went and ordered the other books in the series. So I will be having a book haul coming pretty soon. And this is on, I like this one because the main character in here, he's like artistic. You know, he has like different kind of, what is it? What was his thing? He can't show his emotions too much, and he was so easy to get angry. You know, he couldn't control himself. You know, when he get angry, he would like throw stuff, and his dad didn't understand what was going on. But, you know, back in them days, they didn't know nothing about people being artistic or whatever. And his dad took him and put him in a asylum when he was like 14 or 15 or something like that. And he was in the asylum for quite a while till I guess when his brother took over. His brother went and got him out of the asylum, and he's been learning to deal with his, you know, if he get upset, he's been learning to deal with that situation. But him and what is her name? I wrote her name down. Let me see, can I find it here? I think I wrote it down somewhere. Her name is Beth Arkley. She used to be married, and I think her husband passed away. Now she's a widow, and now she's engaged to this other guy. But when what is his name? Ian. When Ian talked to this other guy, Ian knows the guy that she's engaged to, and he don't like him. So when Ian talked to him, Ian go and find out who he's marrying, and that's how he meets Beth. And he go and tell Beth that she don't need to marry this guy. Yeah, he's not good for her. And then he fall for Beth himself, and he really likes her, and he tell all the dirt on her fiance, and Beth breaks it off with him, and she goes away to Italy, I think, or France or somewhere. She just breaks it off with this guy and leaves and go to France, and he follow her to France. And this is another one where they get married before the book is over with. So I really enjoyed this. This is just about her finding out about him and how to deal with his situation. And something else happened in here. I can't remember. What was it? But I liked all the characters in here, and I really wanted to find out what's going on with his brothers. Sorry about that, my camera went out. I loved all the characters. I got interested in his brother. So the other books are going to be on his brother. So I can't wait to read those. Like I said, I went and ordered the rest of the books in the series. And I will be having a book haul soon. I can't recommend this highly enough. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I like because it's a totally different from the regular historical. Like I said, he has autism. Him trying to deal with his autism and falling in love with Bev. So I really enjoyed this one. And this is The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie. And I will be reading some other book by Jennifer Ashley. She's an excellent writer. I enjoy her writing. And the last book I have is Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. Check these. I checked both of these out of the library, so I got to return these. And I did order my own copy of this along with the rest of the books in the series. And this one is on Annabelle Archer and the Duke of Montgomery. What is his name? What is his name? I can't think of what his name is. what was his name? I can't think of it right now. I thought I wrote it down. I think his name is Archer. No, her last name is Archer. Annabelle Archer, and he's the Duke of Montgomery. So I don't know what his name was. I don't forget what his name was. But anyway, I enjoyed this one too. I enjoyed this book, but it wasn't like a book that I want to read again. So I'm giving it 3 because I didn't enjoy the ending of this one either. Yeah, Annabelle did something at the end that I was like, really? I'm not gonna go into it, but I enjoyed the story. The story was excellent. Evie Dunmore is an excellent writer. So if you looking for a good historical read, I highly recommend the story. But just something happened at the end that it didn't tick all my boxes. So I'm giving this 3.5 stars. But I will be reading. This is going to be in this is book 1 in the League of Extraordinary Women series. So I will be continuing the series because, like I said, I like her writing. But this was on Annabelle and I'm just gonna call him Montgomery because he's the Duke of Montgomery. And she in the beginning, when it starts, she's talking to her brother because she want to go to school. They've opened up a school for women. I forgot, is it at Harvard or Oxford? I forgot what it is. But she wanted to go to school because they got a place for women. And she gets to go there because the suffragettes are giving out grants for women who can help them in their cause to get, the vote for women. So that's why she agreed to help them. And the women in the suffragette, they are all going around, they hanging out at Parliament so they can get these, all the big wigs hang out at Parliament, like the dukes and lords and all this stuff like that, hang there out there. So they hang around there trying to hand out flyers to the dukes and the marquises and all these high people, all these high men in high position, trying to get one of them to help them get the vote for women. And that's how she meets Montgomery, because he's coming out from a building and she runs up to him and try to get him, to tell him about the suffragettes. And he got bodyguards or whatever, and she get knocked down and they have eye contact, a little chemistry, some sparks are going on there. And that's how she first meets him. And then she meets him again when she meets his brother. They do something for his brother. And they want to get invited to this party that the brother is giving or whatever. Because Montgomery and his brother are at odds right now because he thinks his brother is a slacker. But Montgomery goes away. I think he's supposed to be going on some business in France. So while he's away, his brother is going to give a party at his house, at his brother's house. And they want to get invited. So he invites them there. And that's where she meets the Duke again because he come back early for some reason. And they get into it. So it's a lot of them getting into it, getting to know each other because she's going to get sick and she's going to have to stay at his house because she ends up getting sick. And I'm not going to go into it, but it's just a lot of contention back and forth between them two. And, since he's a duke and she don't have any she's not in the upper crust, so to say. She's just a regular female trying to make it in the world. But her brother, I guess they're impoverished aristocrats, but she's not in the duke's level for him to marry her. So that's going to be their contention. And like I said, at the end, I didn't like how stuff happened. Kind of like almost at the end. Yeah, it wasn't. I was like, So I gave it 3.5 stars. I don't want to go back and read this again. I just gave it 3.5 stars. But the story was excellent. Check it out. And I will be continuing with this series. So I flew through all of these. Like I said, even though I gave two of them 3.5 stars, I really, really enjoyed their story. I flew through the books. I didn't have any hang-ups, like I'll put this down and come back to it. No, I didn't have none of that. I think all of these will be a good read if you want to check them out. Highly, highly recommend all of them. And that's all I have for now. I hope you enjoyed my little... I'm not good at doing synopsis or putting these into my own words of how describing how they were or whatever. So I hope I did good enough for you to get an inkling of how they were. Like I said, most of them I really, really enjoyed. I enjoyed all of them, but some of them at the ending didn't get it. Those two, which one was it? This one and this one. These two, they really didn't make me want to read them again. So yeah, that's why I gave them 3.5 stars. But I highly recommend the story. Check them out. And I highly recommend these 4. I really enjoyed them. So if you I think most of them you can find on Amazon or at a used bookstore somewhere. Like I said, you can probably find this one on Amazon. But most of these probably are out of print, because I think, when was this print? Let me see, when was this published? This was 2002, Moonlit. Let's see when this one was published. This was 1999, so I'm sure you have to try to find this at a used bookstore or in the used section of Amazon. And this one was 1997. So yeah, these 2 you're probably going to have to find at a used bookstore. And this one too, I think. You might be able to find a new one of this. I doubt it though, but if you want to check it out. But I'm sure you can find a new one of this one. When was this published? See here, the madness of it might not have the same cover though. This was 2009. Maybe you can get a new one of this one. And this just came out. Let's see when this was published. This was published in 2019. So this just came out if you want to check this out and purchase it. So that's all I have for now. Hope you all continue to have a good day. Hopefully you're getting a lot of reading in since the shut-in. Hopefully you're getting a lot of reading in. Like I'm just reading a whole bunch of books right now. I will be coming back with some other books that I've read between February and March. I guess I'll do a February and March wrap up because yeah, I've got quite a few books here that I've read and finished. So I'll come and let you know my thoughts on those. And I'll also be coming back. Like I said, I got a book haul I'm going to do. So I will be coming back with another video pretty soon. If not today, sometime next week or next Sunday. But that's all I have for now. Keep reading those romances and take care of yourself. See you later. Bye.